Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, to the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, your achwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yehuda with the lesson. And this is Pueblo County, if I'm saying that right, Salakia. It says nearly 20 decomposing bodies found stashed in hidden room of funeral home ran by county coroner, right? This is the city, your government, right? So-called. Salakia. That was just my alarm thing. But yeah, fair use.
I am the CBI director. Thank you for all being here today. I'm here to speak about a deeply disturbing and tragic situation involving the Davis mortuary here in Pueblo. This is a day no one wants to see. We have received credible information that Davis mortuary has been improperly storing human remains for years. This is a profound violation of trust and a heartbreaking betrayal of the families who entrusted their loved ones to this funeral home. I want to express my deepest and most sincere condolences to the families and loved ones of the deceased, whose remains have been so terribly disrespected. We know you are grieving, and this news only compounds your pain. We are committed to getting you the answers you deserve. I can confirm that the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, in partnership with our local law enforcement partners here in Pueblo, our county law enforcement partners, have launched a full-scale investigation into Davis mortuary. In fact, we were first notified of this incident. I received notification from Executive Director of DORA, Patty Salazar, and Division Director Sam Delmar yesterday afternoon. As soon as we received that notification and received that preliminary information, me and my Deputy Director, Dan Bowles, and contacted our team down here in Pueblo. And those of you may know that we have quite a good footprint of investigators here in Pueblo that do exceptional work. These were some of the same investigators that were involved in the return to nature funeral home case that you are likely familiar with. As we speak, those investigators are on the premises executing search warrants to collect evidence and document the full scope of this tragedy. They are assisted, thankfully, by hazmat operators from the Colorado State Patrol. I'd like to thank Colonel Matt Packard. He immediately answered our call to assist. As you can only imagine, the situation of decomposing bodies in various states, we're getting an assessment in this entry with our investigators and hazmat operators to really see what does that entry look like and how do we process this scene. We know that you want answers and you want them now. I understand that urgency completely. However, this is a complex and painstaking process. We are at the very beginning of a thorough methodical investigation. Our top priorities are to respectfully and humanely process the scene, identify all the deceased, and notify their families and loved ones.
Wow. Yeah. Fine. Fair use on that. Yeah, it says this basically you heard everything he said. Heartbreaking portrayal. It says this the remains believed to be dated back as far as 15 years, right? Were discovered Wednesday in a concealed room at Davis Mortuary, according to officials, during Thursday's news conference held by Pueblo County Sheriff Office. Yep. So yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So basically, yeah, this thing dates all the way back. Oh, it's a Colorado funeral. Yeah, 20 years. Yeah, this thing says 20 years. So they said dating back 15 years, but this one says 20 years. Stashed nearly 190 decaying bodies. Wow. Yeah. So who knows if this ain't, a lot of those missing children, things like that, right? So this is Second Esdras chapter 15 verse 8, and I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. See, it's been 20 years, so we at the time of the Lord revealing things, right? Everything is coming out, right? So to speak, yeah, nothing is to be hid, right? Because this is we're living in a time of what, of judgment. So there's nothing to be hid, you which they profanely see, and that's a profane thing to do that to bodies, right? Because matter of fact, that's technically what in the law, right? Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Right, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 21 verse 22, and I guess I'm gonna go KJV first, and then I'm gonna read the ESV. And maybe I'll get that NLT too. Maybe, I don't know. It says, if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, right? Basically, this is supposed to be the county sheriff's office, so these are supposed to be either criminals or whatever, however. So they did crimes which are technically most likely they have something to do with sin, right? That's, because sin is basically at the door, right? When you're doing these crimes, and a lot of crimes that people they're worthy of death, right? The wages of sin is death, right? So it says, and he be to be put, and he be to be put to death, and thus hang him on a tree, right? Which just goes back into the point of our Lord Yahweh Shai when he was hung on the cross, on the tree, right? and it says if, and then I'm gonna go to ESV. If a man has committed a crime, see, right, punishable by death, and he is put to death, and you hang him on a tree, right, public execution, these things that basically Trump said he wants to bring back. He wants to bring back hanging and firing squads and beheadings, which eventually they are going to bring that back, right? But regardless, they're definitely hiding something. If it's in a hidden room, stashed away, because you have all the other bodies, so dead bodies is not a unknown thing in a county morgue. So why would it be stashed away? Right? You know what I'm saying? It says, I'm gonna go back to KJV on this side, 23, and his body shall not remain all night upon the tree. Right? You're not supposed to just let a dead body just be laying around. Right? But thou shalt in any wise bury him, right? See, you're supposed to immediately bury him that day. Yeah, you're supposed to do your investigation, but then see with these people, they do shoddy work, and the investigation, which, you know, a lot of those morgues don't have enough people there, right? You know, that's the thing about that is, I would say they're grossly understaffed in a position like that to be able to do the job correctly, right? Especially to do it in a day. That's being able to do a thorough investigation, comb over the body, and then have it buried that day. The likeliness of that happening in this time, in this day and age, is probably unlikely. But you definitely could do it a lot sooner than 20 years or 15 years and stash it away. So which really, what are there? Are those are missing children? Or those are some illegals or murders that the police did, but you had to hide it so you could keep these officers from not going to prison? You know? You could definitely sense a foul play, basically, right? And then the police are investigating the police. Esau investing in Esau. Not much is going to get done, and if they do, it's going to be the lowest guy on the totem pole that goes to jail. It's never going to be the main culprit, and anything like that. But it's supposed to be buried within that day. For he that is hung is accursed from of the power of the Most High Yahweh, right? Whew. I mean, the Lord was angry with you. It says that thy land be not defiled. See, and that shows you that this place, America, is completely defiled, bro. Completely defiled. Which Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. So, see, Gad, I know you so-called love your land, but you don't want this land back, bro. This land is completely defiled. That's why there's only one way is up, bro. Right? You better get back to believing and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and leave. You got to leave this land, man. This place called America, it is defiled, bro. Beyond recognition, so to speak. Right? It says his body, going to the ESV, his body shall not remain all night on the tree, right? Which they did that too, right? They hung Jake, they hung Gad, Ephraim, Issachar, right? So-called Puerto Rican, so-called Native American, so-called Mexican, so-called Negro, on trees and hung them and left them there. That defiled this land, right? I mean, but you shall bury him the same day. And they didn't do that a lot of times. Most of the time, and that's Esau, man. That's how he did it. For a hunged man is a curse by the power of the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. You shall not defile your land that Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, which Esau said that the Lord was with him. This is manifest destiny. But you know what they did? They defiled the land that the Lord gave them, right? They thought the Lord was such as one as thyself, as the scriptures say, right? But the Lord has to show you that the Lord has to cleanse the land, right? Is the Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, your power is giving you for an inheritance, which really this land belonged to Gad, right? They're the Israelites. This is the land that the Lord gave them. But hey, some evil, wicked, murderous, leprous, Edomites, right? Came, right? Our evil twin brother showed up, right? Esau put us all in subjection and defiled the land. And you can't do nothing with it. Yeah, let me get the NLT real quick. Right. It says, if someone has committed a crime worthy of death and is executed and hung on the tree, right, the body must not remain hanging from the tree overnight. You must bury the body that same day, for anyone who is hung is accursed in the sight of the power Yahweh Basham Awashai Bashamar Kalkodash. In this way you must prevent the defilement of your land, right? So it's already too late. They haven't prevented it, and it's damn sure too late to clean it up now. Except for themselves. So the Most High gonna have to do it through His Son. Yahweh Shai is gonna have to come and cleanse this land, right? Not keep it defiled, right? Prevent defilement of the land. Yahweh, your power, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, is giving you as your special possession, right? Which really gave it to Gad. But Esau liked to think that he, from sea to shining sea, manifest destiny, right? But you've already defiled it, right? So this is Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land, see, and that's what it is, defiled, it's polluted, wherein ye are, see, in which America, Babylon the Great, controlled by the great Edomites, hey, you defile the land. You're not too bright, right? You should not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood defileth the land, right? The dead bodies, you killing people, defiles the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood of the dead people. The dead bodies is just sitting around, which the Lord said should be buried that same day, right? And then now it's defiled. And the blood cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it, right? So Esau and 2/3 are going to have to be punished here, right? Right, I get you. I get what you're saying, Lord. Yeah. Yeah. So this will ensure that the land where you're living, where you live, will not be polluted or defiled, right? Another way of saying it. For murder, ooh, and that's what Esau done. He murdered the natives, murdered the Negroes, murdered the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Cubans, the Jamaicans, right? The Colombians, the Guatemalan, all the way. Come on, bro. Which are all Israelites, right? You have touched the apple of the Most High's eye several times over. Yeah, for murder pollutes the land, right? When you murder a bunch of people and take over their land and then say, oh, this is manifest destiny. You have murdered them, right? Murder pollutes the land, and no sacrifice except the execution of the murderer. Ain't going to be a good enough sacrifice. See, there's no sacrifice for Esau. Wow. No sacrifice acceptable except of the murderer can purify the land from the murder. Hey, and that's what's going to happen to Esau, man. Right? Call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Yeah. So, and get back here. This is I will, second address, 15:8, and I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, right? Which they profane. Profane is what? To pollute or defile, right? Same thing. Profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise, means practice, right? Right. The only way to get anything out of exercise, it has to be a repetitive. You have to constantly do it, or you just lifting weights one time, or you running one time, doesn't give you the results of losing weights. But if you're constantly exercising, which you're constantly doing it, you get a result. So when you're wickedly exercising, right? Because what is another word for that? Like displaying, right? It's what you display, right? Exercising, you're displaying it. Exercise themselves. Behold, which means fix your eyes, look, pay attention. The innocent and righteous blood. See, and that's what's happening. Those bodies had to pop out. We're in the time that the Lord is not holding back his tongue. And the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continuously, right? And that's what's happening right there. Yeah. So this is Genesis chapter 4 and 8. The point is in 10, but I couldn't help. I had to go ahead and just read the rest of it. It says, and Cain talked with Abel, his brother, right? Which Esau is our brother. So-called white man is meant to be our brother, but as you could see, right? It came to pass when they were in the field, right, in the world, right? The field being the world, but then this time it was actually a field, right? That Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him, right? It says one day Cain suggested, see, and that's definitely premeditated murder, right? And that's basically way Esau does things today, right? He's constantly suggesting ways to kill you, right? And you know, you're not thinking any ill will. So oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's take a CV-19 jump shot. Yeah, that sounds, hey, trust the science. The science has been there. It's been, it's helped the people, and we have this since and there was this thing, and there was the Spanish flu, and there's been this and that, and we've done these different things, and we have made all these different strides, and science, falsely so called, right? Because your thing is not science; it's pseudoscience, right? These are things they want to trust the science, right? And Jake, oh yeah, it's a great idea, hey, and then they're gonna do it again. Trust this just a micro C hip, no big deal. It's the only way you can buy and sell. Don't worry about it. It's in the Bible. No, that doesn't mean that, right? And you already got Jakes out there telling you it don't mean that. It's spiritual. It don't really mean that, right? You know what I'm saying? Suggesting things to you, right? What do apostles call it? Predictive programming. So like, yeah. And that's there's nothing new under the sun. That's basically suggesting to his brother, let's go out to the field. Hey, let's just go out and go chill. Like, hey, let's go. All right, bro, let's go chill. Let's go kick back. You know what I mean? Grab a couple of little fruits off the trees. Look at the honeys. Like, let's go, man. You ain't said nothing but a word. What did the youngster say? Say less. Let's go, right? And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Right? That's crazy, bro. Definitely premeditated murder, and that's the thing that Esau does to this very day. Murdering you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, you Israelites, right? Which is meant to be his brother, right? So how many of those bodies are actually Jake? Probably majority of those bodies are Jake. That's just sat up in there that they stashed away, right? Who stashes bodies? Come on now. It says, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said to Cain, where is Abel? Yeah. Hey, and that's going to be the Lord's sentiment now, because that's what Trump's saying he's trying to do. He's trying to get rid of, this is Gad. The Lord gave Gad this land. So all of a sudden there's no Gadites. He said, where's your brother Gad? Where's Gad? Oh, I don't know where Gad's at. I know he used to run this whole land from there to there up to Canada and all the way down through Mexico, and the Lord only enlarged Gad, but we can't find him anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Which, not to mention just Gad, all the 12 tribes are all here. And that's you want to get rid of him, right? Where's your brother Abel? Where's Abel, your brother, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Yeah. Yeah, you are your brother's keeper. You're the crypt keeper, right? Obviously, and the jail, the prison keeper, right? Because yeah, you're definitely that. But yeah, but are you your brother's keeper? Like you have his back and take care of him, and you don't premeditate murder him? No, you ain't gonna do that. It says afterwards, NLT, the Yahweh, Basham Yahushai asked Cain, "Where is your brother? Where is Abel?" "I don't know," Cain responded. I I'm am I my brother's guardian? Ooh, oh, you killed it. Yes, you. Yes, you were supposed to be our guardian. You're our brother. But Esau ain't our guardian, especially the elite, right? Just going to the elite. The elite, he hates the poor. He even hates the poor of his own people, right? Everybody's struggling in this place. It says, and he said, "What has thus done?" So this is the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahushai saying, "What have you done? What have thus done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." See, the Lord ain't gonna let this go, man. Now the righteous blood is crying from the ground. It says, but this is NLT. But the Lord said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Which really means, like Apostle Har said, that he was in the spiritual world and he was telling them what happened. And the Lord's just referenced because the blood spilled on the ground, and now what the ground is what? Defiled. The blood defileth what the land. Now the land is defiled, and it can't not be cleansed but by the blood of him that shed it. But see, the whole thing with this is Cain, which comes back as Esau. Spirit of Cain goes into Esau, and we know that Cain never received a punishment similar to Solomon. Solomon, it said that he will be whipped with the stripes of men if he ever disobey, if he ever go off, if he ever do anything wrong according to the Most High, which he did. He had all these other different gods. He had all these different things that he had done, and he never got scourged with the whips of men. So with the true understanding that Yahweh Shai was that same spirit that came back and received the scourges, received that scourge of men. See, and then this reincarnation, regeneration, this is what's going to happen to you, Esau, Cain, right? That same spirit, because it says now you are cursed and banished from the ground, right? The earth, yeah, the earth. It says you're gonna get ran from the earth, right? Which has swallowed your brother's blood. See, it says now you are now thou art cursed from the earth, right? So you're gonna get chased out the earth, which hath opened her mouth and received thy brother's blood from thy hand, right? Red-handed. He's called red-handed. Crimson, right? Crimson meaning red. Esau, Edom, which is red. The first crime family was the Boziers, which are Edomites. So it says, when thou tillest the ground, right? And that's why we got the GMOs and all these other different things. And he keeps trying to figure out a way to get this and do that instead of just, a land Sabbath, bro. That's all you would have needed to do. But you're not. You cast the law behind you, and it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength and fugitive, a fugitive, and a vagabond. See, and that's ultimately this is the point. What I'm saying, because you haven't got judged. So now you've been a fugitive, and a vagabond shall thus be, shall thou be in the earth. And seeing that's ultimately what you are. You've been running from judgment generation after generation and never been judged from this time period and the time of you being Cain. Because it says if the blood defiles the land, it cannot be cleansed but by the blood of the murderer. See? And yeah, the earth is defiled then at this point until Esau get taken out. Right? Until that spirit of Cain get cleansed out. No longer will the ground yield good crops. Right? And that's happening right now, right? For you, no more. How hard you work for from now on, you will be homeless wanderer upon the earth. And that's what Esau's been doing. Really getting the fatness of the earth, wandering. As he wanders, hey, what is this? This is Australia? Oh, okay, well, let me kill all these people and take the land. Yeah. Oh, what is this? Hong Kong? Oh, let me kill all the people here and take over Hong Kong for a while. I mean, eventually they had to give it back, but hey, they took it over for a while. Oh, what is this? South Africa? Oh, let me take over. What's this? Canada? What's this? The land of Gad? All these Native Americans? Let's take Canada. Let's take this southern part and let's just call it America. Let's take this other part and Mexico. Call it Mexico. Call this fucking Brazil. We're going to do all these different things. We take over this whole entire planet. Right? As a wanderer. Right? By the sword. That should get the fatness of the earth. But the point is the earth is defiled because of you. The world is defiled. Yeah, so this is Luke 11:50, right? That the blood of all the prophets, which was shed from the foundation of the world, right? And Esau, Edom, Cain, right? Cain, which is Esau, Edom. I don't know if you know this, but Abel was a prophet, right? And was slain from the foundation of the world, from the beginning of, that's what Genesis means. Genesis means the beginning, right? You slew him from the beginning, right? May be required of this generation. Well, this generation meaning what? This world, this age, this eon, right? Esau is the end of this world or this generation, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? Right? For from the blood of righteous Abel, see, I don't know if you knew he was a prophet, but he was a prophet, bro. And you shouldn't have touched him. From the blood of righteous Abel, from the blood of Abel, from the blood of Abel, which he was righteous though, from the blood of Abel unto Zacharias, which perished between the altar and the temple, verily, which means truly, I say unto you, it shall be required of this generation. And we're in that last generation right here in Babylon the Great, that whore which ought to be destroyed. So with all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold. Shalom to your sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah.